turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss, and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahudi samyao sanputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao sanputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in millions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Venerable Master and Dhamma friends, welcome to our Sutra lecture tonight. Jerry, I got a message from Australia saying they're not seeing the live page on YouTube. Got it? Fixed? Okay, great. Today is August 17th. My name is Heng Sure. We're going to be looking into the Flower Garland Sutra tonight, the 9th stage. And I checked our archives, and the last time I was sitting here was June 17th or June 18th, something like that. And it's been a busy summer. Chin Fosher has been standing in and explaining the Sutra of Limitless Meanings, Wuliang Shou Jing, the Pure Land text, while I've been traveling the length and breadth of North America, and good to be back. We're going to be looking into the Flower Garland Sutra. First, before we start, we're going to invoke spiritual presence. It's here in the front of your text. So, if you would. There's our pitch. We're going to recite the name of the sutra, which is the first line in Chinese, then the names of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who bring the text to us. So that's what we're reciting in Chinese. The sounds are on the bottom two lines here. If you're not familiar with the Chinese characters, you can read the Romanized spellings down below. What's important is that in our hearts we make room for the presence of those celestial beings and open up to what we can learn from this text tonight. Here we go. Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yan Ji Hua Yan Hai Hui Po Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yan Ji Hua Yan Hai Hui Po Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Hua Yan Ji 华严海会佛菩萨，南无大方广佛华严经，华严海会佛菩萨，南无大方广佛华严经，华严海会佛菩萨，南无大方广佛华严经，华严海会佛菩萨。One more time. 南无大方广佛华严经，华严海会佛菩萨。When I was doing that in Australia, we had a fretless nylon string banjo that we made those sounds on. Now we're using a 12-string guitar. Please turn to page 86 and 87. 86, 87. Okay, let's dive in. Last paragraph, next to last paragraph, if this bodhisattva. And the Chinese is 此菩萨若发清净尽. That line. Okay, people want to join me? I'm going to put my palms together. These are the Buddha's words, so we demonstrate some respect as we do it. Here we go. Ready? I'll give you the line, you follow. 此菩萨若发清净尽，与一念请，得百万而生起，国度微尘数三昧。Oh, that was too many words and the voices dropped off. 4 words is about all we can handle. 乃至实现百万而生起，果度微尘数菩萨。That's only you break it that way, and the Chinese doesn't make sense. 一味眷属，若依菩萨，殊胜愿力，自在示现，过于此数，乃至百千，亦哪有他解I blew it. One more time. Here we go. Follow me. 乃至百千亿，哪有他解，不能数之。Okay, your Mandarin is getting better. Did you notice? It's way better. Progress. Good. Now, what we're going to do this time, we're on page 87. If this Bodhisattva is where we begin, and we're going to read it together. And reading together is a skill that probably the last time you did it may have been 3rd grade, may have been 6th grade if you had a good English teacher. And there are conventions which make it actually pleasant and a positive experience. For example, punctuation is our friend. Punctuation, for example, we've got commas. The comma says breathe. So we pause and we breathe. Period says stop and we breathe, right? So a bigger pause. The white space is obviously you give your eye time to come down to the next line. When we read together, we use our ears as much as our mouth so that we can hear the people to the left of us, to the right of us, in front and behind, reading together. And the result of this minimal structure and discipline gives us something the Chinese call 异口同音, which is different mouths but a unified sound. In other words, unison. And it's a rare opportunity to come together in an instant community. And Lord knows there are few enough opportunities to do that in the world these days. So let's try it. Ready? And I'll give you the cue. Where do we go? Ready? Let's do it. If this bodhisattva brings forth diligence and vigor, pause, in the space of a thought he can realize as many samadhis as the fine particles of dust in hundreds of thousands of asankhyas of lands, breathe, up to and including being able to bring into being bodhisattvas as many as the fine particles of dust in hundreds of thousands of asankhyas of lands as his following. Period. The first period in the entire paragraph. Next paragraph. If he uses the special supreme strength of bodhisattva vows to appear effortlessly, he can surpass even that number, and in 100,000 kotis of nayutas of eons, the number could not be counted or known. All right, so what is this? This is the wrap-up. This is the summary. This is the conclusion of a long chapter called the ninth stage. We're learning what a bodhisattva is. We're learning what bodhisattvas know, what they say, what they feel. And this is a high-level set of instructions. High level meaning it's 9 out of 10, right? So this is basically last semester of high school or college or graduate school. Your diploma is pretty much guaranteed at the ninth stage. You just have to not flake out. You have to take the courses, show up, right? And pretty much you'll graduate. Bodhisattva is, since the 7th and the 8th, he is what's called irreversible. She. Use the feminine pronoun if you prefer. This is gender-free text. So our bodhisattva is at the ninth stage, and we're at the end of the ninth stage. So this is conclusion talk. We call it boilerplate, meaning it just pops up almost automatically at this part of each of the 9, 10 stages. Okay, what does it say? If the bodhisattva works really hard, that's what it says, brings forth diligence and vigor, right? Bodhisattva puts out effort, puts heart into it, cares about what he or she is doing, and of course he does, because this is all based on heart motive, caring. Then, in the space of a thought, meaning just in that's actually a measure of time, space of a thought, he can realize samadhis. So what? A samadhi is a resource. If I used to read about runners who would talk about getting into the zone. Remember? Swimmers, they would get into the zone. And then they would hit the wall, they would say. And that's runners and swimmers talk for reaching a physical limit that the body gives you that says, that's it. No further, there's nothing left, says the body, as you hit the wall. Cyclers, right? If you've ever done long-distance cycling or high-speed. Let's stick with the runners. So, entering the zone, hitting a wall, what is this talking about? It's a physical state. You're getting information from your muscles, from your nerves, from your chi, perhaps, from your mind that says, red, right? The needle is in the red on your tachometer. RPMs are at max. So, what is that? That's a plateau, let's call it, a stage where your resources are being used or maybe utilized to their highest optimal level. Any further, you're going to break down. You're going to hurt yourself. Okay, a samadhi is similar in one respect to that kind of state, which is it's physical, nervous, based on nerves, based on chi, but it also has the spiritual component. That is to say, your thoughts are focused. You're pulling from another battery in your consciousness, unconscious, subconscious, any of those words. None of the words, it's interesting that we're in the realm of psychology, yes, but Western analytic psychology doesn't go here, doesn't tread this ground. There's no map. Freud, Jung, Adler, the contemporary therapists, analysts, didn't give us language or, peer-reviewed research that goes here. The West hasn't gone here yet. There is a contemporary body of people who are working here. It's called the Mind Life Institute, and sponsored largely by His Holiness, Dalai Lama, and has invited many Western doctors, researchers, neuroplasticity people. That's actually, neuroplasticity was one of the results of this Mind Life Institute, talking about the mind. The problem is, with this kind of research so far, is that Western science gives itself too much credit to the point that it weighs heavily research that machines can generate, and it weighs lightly research that people generate, which is ironic because the Buddha and the millions, with an M, millions of human beings who have followed the Buddha and done the steps recorded in the Avatamsaka Sutra, get the same results in using their bodies and minds as the laboratory for entering samadhi. The Mind Life Institute is at least in the conversation, but what do they say? Well, if you can't measure it, it can't be known. If our machines can't measure it, it doesn't exist. That's essentially the message. And okay, so far so good. It would, if we were, it would be helpful if instead of that, they said the yogis, the swamis, the sadhus, the monks who have done this work for so many thousands of years, if their research was admissible, if even we could study their language to get their terms of reference, we'd be further, right? But even the language. Here I'm trying to say, what is a samadhi, right? What does our text say? Bodhisattva works hard, he gets more samadhis. Like that. In a blink of an eye, in the space of a thought, he can realize how many samadhis? Look at what it says. Fine particles of dust in hundreds of thousands of asamkhya's of lands. Okay, pick a land. Well, Berkeley. Sleepy little California town until next week when all the students show up and it's no longer sleepy. 40,000 people show up next week. And so let's take Berkeley. Well, Berkeley is a little part of a land, right? Then take California. California is a state in a bigger continent. Well, okay, so let's just pick one, a continent, North America, from the Yukon down to where do we stop? Latin America count? Let's call that a land. How many particles of dust? How many fine particles of dust are there? Add zeros. 26 to the 26th power of zeros. Hundreds of thousands of asankhya's of lands. What's an asankhya? That's a number that she says uncountable. That's an uncountable number. That many lands, how many particles of dust? That's how many samadhis the bodhisattva can enter in a snap. Okay, what's the sutra? Is the sutra just like some fuzzy document talking about a lot? No, it's precise. That's the breakdown right there. Who is the Buddha telling us about the mind of the bodhisattva? He is a researcher. He's reporting. He's not creating. The Buddha is a witness to the function of the human mind transformed by the Dharma. Excuse me. Ooh, cough into the microphone, please. That's a lot of samadhis. The Buddha is not selling sutras, right? The Buddha is not hoping to get on Oprah's channel. Does Oprah still have a channel? We used to, right? Network. Doesn't want to get on Oprah's network. The O network. The Buddha is simply saying, yes, I did it, you can too. Here's the paper trail. Anybody who does what I did will get the same results. It's intersubjectively testable. It's as scientific as any physics researcher at Cal. Okay, so you accept that. That's the breakdown, as I say. That's where it breaks down. So the Mind Life Institute is a step in the right direction, by golly, and Western science grudgingly lets go of its language to say, oh, well, okay. There are exceptions. For example, Henry Stapp, bless his heart. Henry Stapp is the emeritus, I think at this point, physics professor at Cal, who is a disciple of Pauli, whose name appears on quantum research at the very beginning, where this action over here gets the results over here with no apparent causation. Quantum physics says, yes, there is a causation here, but it's not linear, the way Newtonian physics, right? So Henry Stapp said, okay, how come quantum works? There is an explanation in Asian spiritual disciplines. Henry Stapp took himself to India to learn yoga because he wanted to expand his toolkit. He said, the Buddha in his sutras, which I have read, the Swamis in their Vedas, which I have read, said Henry Stapp in translation, say that everything that happens has a cause, even when it's not apparent. I need to find that out. How does that work? He went off to become a yogi, did his research, and said, I think there's something valid here, And the whole, scientific community goes, you're a believer now. You're no longer pure. Okay, so, bless his heart. Here's the Bodhisattva saying, and this is boilerplate, this is not news, this repeats every chapter. It says, if the Bodhisattva brings forth diligence and works hard, how the mind works is click in that little tiny, and it says a space of a thought, but it's time. It's not distance, it's time. It's temporal, not spatial. In that amount of time, he can add samadhis. What's a samadhi? A samadhi is like that getting in the zone where from that samadhi, wisdom arises. All right? But a samadhi is a result. It's not a cause itself. It is a cause itself. It's the second step in the Buddha's formula, which is Shila Samadhi Prajna. Shila means how I live in my daily life. Samadhi is the stillness and focus and purity that results from the human mind when certain behaviors are avoided, killing, stealing, lust, and lying among them. And then wisdom results. So there you go. That's the Jie Ding Hui that we hear about as the Buddha's basic formula. Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. How come we don't know about Samadhi? Well, who's willing to do the first step? I have to change my behavior. I can't tell whoppers. Can't lie. Right? I can't smoke, eat, drop, chew, sniff anything that I care to, just on a whim. I can, there's no moral imperative, it's just I won't get the results. Again, the Buddha as scientist is right here. He subjected himself to rigorous discipline. He did the experiment on himself. Truly, I think this is key, and if we look at it this way, suddenly this, quote, spiritual classic becomes a textbook, a handbook. We do bow to it because the results of the textbook is the end of suffering. So it's sacred in that sense. It stands with any other sacred classic. But its use, its application is pragmatic. It's for use. It's a textbook. You ought to have it thumbed, and smeared with your fingerprints because you opened it so much and you folded it back and you stuck it in, you tried it, pulled it back out. That would be, I think, much closer to the actual function of the Avatamsaka Sutra than what the traditional approach to it in Asia is put it in the glass cabinet and bow to it. Now, I did that. I bowed to it too, but I opened it up at the same time. Our teacher, Master Hua, whose photo is right here, explained this for 90 minutes every single night he was alive in America, right? 30 years. Well, nine of those 30 years until he was done. But that's how highly he esteemed this text. Okay, so you got it. It says, up to and including being able, look at this, bring into being bodhisattvas. Here's our bodhisattva, you, me, her, cultivating this way, and as a result, what happens? What are called nirmanakaya, transformed bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas that appear from intent, not from mom. Bodhisattva is the mother of other bodhisattvas. What is that about? Good Lord. That's like, how in the world, right? So, what are we trying to do? We're trying to take this sutra at its word. We're trying to take it, deal with what it says. And I think many people, when they read it, go, yeah, give me something give me a story, turn the page. We don't deal with it. One of the reasons is because it's outrageous. What? Bodhisattva makes bodhisattvas, how many? As many as fine particles of dust and hundreds of thousands, right? So, good grief, our bodhisattva is making bodhisattvas. How does that happen? Okay. That makes more sense if you've been following the story so far. And there was a time, particularly in the 7th stage, where the bodhisattva started to put out these emanations. And they're creations of his compassion. Bodhisattva is a teacher now. He or she is really, really able to make sense to other people. That's what the Bodhisattva does. That's his purpose, is to help. Why this Bodhisattva comes into being is because he cares about people's pain and wants to help end it. How do you end it? Well, you have to be believable. If you have no integrity, if people look at you and react against you, they're not going to follow you. This bodhisattva has to be believable. He's got to be kind. He's got to be somebody who you want to approach. And then, with that external appearance, right? Or maybe, who knows, maybe, what is it? Why do you trust somebody? Somebody comes up, why do you trust them? Are you seeing something more than their outline, their appearance, their clothes, their haircut, their posture? Are you seeing a color when you look at somebody you trust? Are you seeing a symmetry or a lack of symmetry? It's funny. Chinese astrology has an interesting comment about this. Chinese astrology, the 12 animals, right? What year were you born, right? The Chinese astrology says there are opposites that you immediately will not find in sympathy. Okay? If you're a tiger and your mom's a monkey, big trouble. Right? Bless her heart, your mom is going to be, everything you say, she's going to go, no. Because why? Opposites, right? If you are an ox and the person you're working with, your team captain is a sheep, oh my goodness, Aumi Tofo, good luck. Because I had a monk here who was that very combination. I'm an ox and he was a sheep. And I'll never forget the day he came down and found fault with the way I was folding the laundry. I pulled the sheets out of the washer, out of the dryer, and I started folding them up, and he came down and criticized my folding of the sheets, how much the more every single move I made, right? Why? He's a sheep and I'm an ox. So, So yeah, indeed. Every sign has its opposite. Now, that's as much as I'm going to, Dharma Master, I'm a pig. What's my opposite? Okay, no. So, but what are we seeing when you trust somebody? It's like they come into your view. I think I've seen this. I've seen this happen up at the administration office, City of 10,000 Buddhas. We're about to be inspected by the Army Corps of Engineers. This is years and years and years ago. Because we discovered in our wetlands, we were looking for a place to build our project, right? We hadn't even got the site. We're expanding, trying to expand. CTDB has outgrown its buildings for the main hall. Okay, so in the front was a wetlands. It's where the deer are. And by the way, parenthetically, this is a digression. Today is Saturday. On Wednesday, Monday, I walked by, and there were 9 deer, all lined up in the early morning, waiting for the, not sure what they were waiting for. I think maybe they were all lined up. You could see their ears. They would have their ears like this. Dong, dong, 9 of them on the wetlands right there. Okay, so we had taken a bulldozer and dug up part of the wetlands. And the Army Corps of Engineers was coming to fine us $10,000 for having dug up a wetland, which you don't do, We didn't know, So, okay, so the kind-hearted layman who was looking over the front office he knew what was coming, and you could see he was terrified. Because why? He's Taiwanese. And he's not used to dealing with large, bureaucratic, military, military inspectors, Americans coming in. And so I was there watching this happen, and Doug Powers was there. And Doug, was quarterback of the Berkeley High School football team. Doug is entirely enmeshed in the culture. He is as American as they come. Big guy, broad shoulders, teaches at the high school. His specialty is 17-year-olds. Doug is really good at reading American body language. And our poor Taiwanese layman is not. He just sees this large person coming in with a badge, and he's like, what do I say? And so here comes the guys, 3 of them, coming in the door to lay down the law with us. And I'm watching Doug, and Doug stands up, walks over. How you doing? Nice to see you. Jim? It's a pleasure. It's good to see you. Okay, Tom? Hi. Hi, Tom. Good. Henry? Oh, it's a pleasure. Okay, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so tell me about this problem we got here, And these 3 guys go, oh, yeah, well, we'll just sit down here. You want a cup of coffee? Yeah, oh, okay. I talked to Doug afterwards, and he said, the decisions that we make about whether we're going to be able to communicate with someone are determined before the first look. That as far as he's good at reading this body language. When we meet somebody new, there's a radar that's invisible that you're feeling each other out before you even get that first visual. That was Doug's interpretation of it. And he said, yeah, sure, I knew. These guys, one of them looked just like my dad. The other one looked like my younger brother. He says, oh, yeah. No, I know. No problem. And the Taiwanese layman was like, me tofu. He had no idea how to, what a Western, come on, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, no problem. No, it's all right. No big deal. Like that. And sure enough, they said, okay, we'll let you off with a warning this time. We didn't get fined $10,000, right? Because Doug was able to interpret and go right to that place where they communicated. They trusted him. He knew exactly what to say, what to do, how to stand. A little submissive. Okay? And I have another perfect story, also involving Doug Powers, interestingly enough. And he and I were going up for Buddha's birthday 1 year to the city of 10,000 Buddhists from Berkeley. I was driving and I was a passenger in Doug's car, and we were in a hurry, and guess what? Red and blue light behind us. So Doug pulls over, and he says, I said, Doug, put your hands on the wheel. He said, no. So he gets out of the car and starts to walk back to the highway patrolman, CHP, right? And Doug did his Berkeley High School football quarterback walk back, rolling his shoulders, submissive. Got back in the car 10 minutes later with a warning. He talked his way out of a speeding ticket by knowing how to appear submissive but buddy. Right? And I'm not recommending it, man. You have to know how to do it. This is Kung Fu. This is a secret transmission of genuine Kung Fu. He didn't get a ticket. Speeding. He was going 85, And also not recommended. I shouldn't have named him, right? So Doug's going to, what are you telling people I was speeding? So, sure enough, question is, how do you know when to trust a bodhisattva created by the bodhisattva? He, up to and including being able to bring into being bodhisattvas as many as. What? 乃至实现百万而生其国度，为成诸菩萨. Bringing into being, I translated, it could be translated as 实现, to make appear. Same idea. Are they real bodhisattvas? Well, according to the person for whom the bodhisattva was created, the living being who's going to be taught, yeah, you think they're real. You thought that was your wife, right? That's a bodhisattva here to cross you over, to teach you about your bad habits. You better be nice to your wife. What if she is a bodhisattva here to cross you over? Oh my goodness. So, I'm talking out of my hat, mind you, but, okay. So, there's Doug Powers doing he knows how to. Now, in reality, Doug taught Berkeley High School for 36 years. Probably some of the CHP are his former students, right? So he knows. Doug is trustable. Master Hua, in Chinese you say 重用他, really relied on Doug in a lot of situations. He flew to Washington, D.C. to represent our Refugee Rescue and Resettlement organization, to talk to bureaucrats in the State Department every weekend for 6 months, getting us set up. We were cited as one of the best refugee resettlement programs in America. So this guy, he earned that ability. So my point is, how does a bodhisattva bring into being other bodhisattvas? The sutra says he or she can do this because of what? Compassion. This bodhisattva does not get to be a Buddha until his or her vows are fulfilled. How do those vows get fulfilled? By, quote, 化众生, taking living beings across. What does it mean to change? 化 can also mean change, changing living beings. He or she has to get close to you, talk to you, behave in a way that you totally accept and want to imitate. That's how believable and trustworthy and in how much integrity this bodhisattva has to display so that you go, oh, I think I'd like to be like that. Success in the bodhisattva's mission of taking living beings across. Right? That's how true you have to be. Truer than true. So, what if the living being who you're trying to teach catches you in a lie? The vase is shattered, right? The integrity is broken. You're not trustworthy? Oh, does the bodhisattva vanish? Poof, another one pop up later? Maybe, I don't know. But this chapter is about how bodhisattvas learn to teach living beings. How difficult is that? You have to be true to be able to get the confidence, the trust of the living being who you're trying to teach. Now, wrap that up and put both the bodhisattva and the living being inside you. What if the living beings who you're teaching are inside your mind and you have to trust yourself? You have to believe yourself. You have to show up trustworthy and keep your promises to yourself. What about that? Oh my goodness. What if there's no external living being out there at all, and the result of your integrity is believing that you can do it? That's a whole other chemistry and relationship, right? So we were saying the other day that something that people, I think, don't understand about the Buddha Dharma is that it's based on relationships. At least the Mahayana. People somehow get the impression that the Buddha Dharma is about going off in a cave somewhere, cutting off your ties, and reaching nirvana under a tree or somewhere, all by yourself, lonely, solipsistic, right? Solo. Well, maybe at some stage in your practice. I mean, I was silent for 6 years, but I was intensely related to my teacher and to my Dharma protector and to people who I was speaking Dharma to by the day. I was in Vancouver last weekend. That's why we didn't lecture. And visited the place where Marty and I lectured twice a day, every day, to those poor, suffering lay people listening to beginning lecturers belabor the sutras for twice a day. In how many languages? 3. Can you imagine sitting through 2 translations of the same boring lecture, right? Marty lectured in English. I translated into Mandarin. And then a volunteer was going, fa si wa, gum koi wa, you know. And it's like, oh no, they heard the same thing 3 times. And we were just beginners. We had, not very dramatic, not very fun to listen to. So, man, oh man, that was twice a day, after lunch and then after evening ceremony. There it was. So, the Bodhisattva is now able to manifest, to appear in bodies. What does it say? If he or she uses the, let's see here, Pusa Shu Sheng Yuan Li, if the Bodhisattva puts it into overdrive, shifts from 4th to 5th gear, hits the clutch and drops it down into 5th gear, vow power, Yuan Li, happens. What is vow power? It's saying, I'm going to ask for special spiritual aid to do the teaching I have to do, because ultimately I would like to be a Buddha too, and I can't do it until living beings wake up. So that special Bodhisattva's vow strength, that's another level of resource that's accessible to a Bodhisattva. It's available to him or her, and the boilerplate always says that. So, in other words, an ordinary Bodhisattva can go through this and not bring forth diligence and vigor, and not use the special supreme strength of Bodhisattva's vows. But it's there as an option. Okay? That's what these 2 paragraphs are saying. There's kind of a booster rocket here for the Bodhis to get warp drive, right? Put it into warp drive, Mr. Sulu. And then you see warp drive, right? So that's available. He can surpass even that number of bodhisattvas created. In 100,000 kotis of nayutas of eons, think zeros. 0, 0, 0. The number could not be counted or known. That many living beings. Okay, man. 88 and 89, please. Hey. It's a textbook. We are about to launch into the second half of the 9th stage, which is the verse restatement of the same principles, put in poetic form with meter. 尔时金刚藏菩萨欲充宣其意，而说颂曰. Then Bodhisattva Vajra Treasury, wishing to restate his meaning, chanted the following verses. Okay, I didn't mention that tonight the words that I am saying in English are going through that series of tubes known as the internet all the way over to, so here's the planet Earth, we're over here, they're going there, that's the Gold Coast, Australia, where 2 vigorous disciples, volunteers, Sam and Cliff, are translating into Chinese and using YYNet and, are they still using Weiho? I don't know. 2 social network conferencing software apps to leap over the Great Chinese Firewall so that listeners in China can hear the Avatamsaka Sutra, because we're webcasting out directly to YouTube now, and YouTube doesn't go to China. So thank you to Cliff and Sam for putting out that effort. And YYNet is okay, but it's full of ads. You can take out a channel and you get blasted with ads that are not necessarily conducive to samadhi, if you get my drift. So, okay, but How many, Jerry, find out how many listeners are listening. We haven't been consistent. 36 on YouTube, and in China there's probably, because people have been looking for this lecture for a couple months and haven't found it, so we'll have to build it up again. YY and Weiho. Okay. We're going to jump into the 9th stage one more time, this time in verses. And interestingly, if the camera could see itself and show our Berkeley Monastery Buddha Hall, we would see this table loaded with offerings. The reason being, today at the Berkeley Monastery, last week at City of 10,000 Buddhas, and in Vancouver last week, Gold Buddha, we're celebrating Ulambana. Ulambana is a Buddhist holiday known throughout Asia and interpreted in different ways. We were laughing this morning about the Japanese version of Ulambana, which is Obon Matsuri. And Obon is an annual holiday in Japan that has lost touch with its original Buddhist roots. And some of the customs that have grown up over the centuries seem pretty far removed from filiality, which was the original source of what became Obon Matsuri. But it doesn't stop with Obon. There's movies, there are cartoons, there are operas, entire operas. There are novels, there are songs, all about filiality. And the theme of it in Chinese is Mu Lian Jiu Mu. Madhyayana saves his mother. That's the theme of this very Buddhist story. It's a great story that every time it's retold moves people's hearts. Today is the day that we're doing it here in the Berkeley Monastery. And the table is full of food and Dr. Bronner's soap, and there's a Zoji Rushi rice cooker, and lots of toothbrushes, and cooking oil, and mushrooms. Oh, dried mushrooms to beat the band. Just lots, and all kinds of things that the Sangha uses throughout the year. Never mind the keys to the Subaru Forester. It can be used. We don't. If it's not new, it's fine. But buried in there somewhere. Those things come every year because of this story. The story of Madhyayana saves his mother. And one of the things that popped up this morning was my realization that it may have been the first time I heard the Buddha's name in this body, in this lifetime. Excuse me. Happened in 1968. I was a student at Middlebury College, summer school of Chinese. And we had a really vigorous choir director, Jamie Pusey, Dr. Pusey, whose dad, parenthetically, was the president of Harvard at the time, Nathan Pusey. Jamie had married a Taiwanese wife, Qifang, Wang Qifang, and his interest in learning Chinese and Chinese culture and language included Chinese music. And so as a faculty member of the summer school of Chinese at Middlebury, he organized a Chinese choir, and oh, what fun we had. And we learned all these wonderful songs, which I sang a snippet of this morning. I won't do it again. But it included things like Dongfang Hong, right? Dongfang Hong, Taiyang Sheng, Zhongguo Chu Liu Ge Mao Zedong. And also, 社会主义好, socialism is fine, socialism is fine, the reactionary cliques have been knocked over and the people are in the clover, right? And also the national anthem of China, but that's all the communist songs. On the nationalist side, we learned Sanminzhuyi, the national anthem of Taiwan. We learned Ali Shandi Gunyang Mei Ru Shui, Ali Shandi Shaonian Zhuang Ru Shan, you know. And we learned Chinese opera, and we learned some patriotic songs, the Kangding Qingge, oh my goodness. And let's see. 雪气天晴朗，腊梅处处香，骑驴花摇过，铃儿响叮当，响叮当，响叮当，响叮当，响叮当。花彩的苹公羊，伴我树上青云，共度好时光。Jinfo, what do you think? Pretty good. I didn't have the motions, you know. So, but among those songs, just totally out of the blue, was something called Foqu, Buddha song, and it's amazingly we learned it, and the chorus, it was beautifully arranged, was Ami Tofo, Ami Tofo, Ami Tofo, Ami Tofo. And the way the harmonies, very moving and haunting melody. And how did it go? It went 昔日有个木莲僧，救木琴，临遇地狱门。且问灵山有多少路？有108000有余。南无阿弥陀佛。And then Ami Tofu Ami Tofu. That's the text of the song. And so in the past, there was a monk whose name was Madhyayana. In order to save his mother, he journeyed down through the doors, the gates of hell. Please tell me, sir, how far is it to Magic Mountain? It's 10,000 miles and more. Ami Tofu, Ami Tofu, Ami Tofu. It may well be that the first time in this life that I heard the name of the Buddha was singing that song in Jamie Pusey's Chinese school choir, Chinese chorus. And man, that's powerful stuff when you hear that name, Ami Tofu, and repeat it with music, right? The music does something in there to open up the right side of the right hemisphere. So I'll let you listen and see if you get the same response that I had. Usually I have to start at high because there's a part, the response to how far is it to Magic Mountain is really low. So let's see if I can get the right pitch. 昔日有个木莲僧，救木吉林地狱门。借问灵山有多少路？有108000 almost。有余力南无佛。And then the high voices go, 阿弥陀佛. Then you add the harmonies, 阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛，阿弥陀佛. So it's very moving and haunting melody. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was that experience that was the first time. And like, what's that sound? You know, Amitofo, Amitofo. Who knows? That it's certainly the and okay. Why is? Suppose we were singing Barack Obama, Barack Obama, Barack Obama, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Michelle Obama, Michelle Obama. It doesn't have the same effect. You know, Bill Clinton, Miss Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton. I won't sing the other name. No. It's because, right? Jiang Jieshi, Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong. Not the same. Why not? The answer is because of the vows behind the name. So the story that Amitabha is the key that opens that door is that there was a monk who, when he was a monk in lifetimes, cultivated hard and made 48 vows to make a Pure Land and gave all of the hard work to that goal and said, if you recite Namo Amitofo, you can go to that place where there's no suffering. That's the key. That's what's different, right? Now, if the other individuals who I named had done that work, their name takes on a certain energy. Why, if that were not true, how come Jews do not name God, right? Yud He Vav He, Yahweh. They don't mention that name because of the power involved, right? Names have power. Okay, so just to say. All right. So let's take a look. Are we ready to dive into the verses of the ninth stage? Page 88. Here we go. We want to do it. I'll give you the line because these are metered. Let's start with the 无量智力. Here we go. Ready? 无量智力菩萨. One more time. 无量智力善观察. You say 无量智力善观察，最上微妙是难知。最上微妙是难知，普入如来秘密处，普入如来秘密处，利益众生入九地，利益众生入九地。Good stuff. Over to the right, let's do it in unison. Here we go. Using limitless powers of wisdom, he skillfully contemplates things supremely wonderful and rarely known to the world. He engages all the Tathagata's secret dharmas and masters the ninth stage to benefit sentient beings. Okay, why don't we read together? Wouldn't that be neat? I mean, suppose there was a radio show where you could get the text and they invited you to read along. And everybody in America read along. Oh. Today we're going to be reading from the Flower Garland Sutra, the ninth stage. Right? Using limitless powers of wisdom, he or she skillfully contemplates things supremely wonderful and rarely known to the world. How come rarely known? Because nobody takes the time to look into their minds. We investigate things outside of ourselves. Who teaches you that there's value in listening inside? Mindfulness? True. So, supremely and wonderful and rarely known to the world, but totally available at all times if you only know where to look. Hiding in plain sight. She engages all the Tathagatas, me, true, sometimes called be, me, true. What would those be? Samadhi is one. Wisdom is another. Compassion is another. Secret dharmas, not because the Buddhas don't want you to know them, but because you have to know where to look. Then you discover them. Masters the ninth stage to benefit sentient beings, not for himself, not for herself. Notice the word masters. The Chinese is ru, and we would have definitely translated that as enters the ninth stage in the past. We're thinking that in the summary, the Bodhisattva is mastering these 9 stages. This 9th stage. These 10 stages, but the 9th stage. And he does so to benefit living beings. Okay. Let's take it to that point. And you all have one of these? I want to talk about those. I mentioned that people pretty much don't think about relationships when they think about Buddhism, particularly not about monks, monastics. The assumption is that if you study the Dharma, you're probably a misanthrope. What's a misanthrope? Somebody who's given up on the world. Not the case. Our bodhisattva needs relationships if he is going to get people's trust. They have to be trustworthy, and the only way you're trustworthy is if people look at you and go, oh, you're okay. Like Doug Powers and the Army Corps of Engineer inspectors, oh my goodness. And the CHP, right? One look, okay, yeah, all right, well, at least I'll listen to you, right? That's the first thing. And if you don't have that recognition, what happens? Layers and layers of defenses and protection, and you kind of, you don't, I'm not really understanding you. It's done somehow in that first look in a miraculous kind of way. So, what about 99? Page 99 is, oh, you got the old edition. Does anybody not have page 99? There's a couple editions of songbooks there. It's coming through the speaker. Oh, okay, got it. Song of Enlightenment. This is, hear that? Yeah. We have to investigate that hum. Song of Enlightenment is about wisdom, not as much about compassion. We're looking into this text. It's long, 63 verses. And to say it's about relationships, this is an awakened monk. His name was Heng Sure, Mysterious Awakening. From the master from Yongjia. Yongjia is a place. And he had already awakened by the time he met the sixth patriarch. I think he probably collected these verses. I don't think he, quote, wrote them. Some of them he did, probably, but I think he heard them from monks that he met all over China. And but at this point, because he had seen his nature, he had illuminated his mind, he was able to pretty much 出口成章. As soon as it came out of his mouth, it was already wisdom. So, of the 63 verses, I took 9, and I grouped them into 3 topics. Notice, I took the numbers off them, but they're from different parts of the whole song, based on themes. The first is Xin Jing, the mirror of the mind. And he says, Xin Jing Ming 见无碍，豁然盈彻周沙盖，万象层罗影现中，一刻圆光背内外。And when I say it's about wisdom, not compassion, he is challenging us to look inside and get past all the things that obstruct our vision of our nature. He's talking from the nature. The mirror of the mind is bright without flaw. Everything's reflected, you can't see it all. All 10,000 things reveal, perfect, round, and bright. No inside, no outside, just brilliant, pure light. Goodbye to good and evil, goodbye to loss and gain. In stillness and tranquility, you never ask again. Your wisdom mirror was coated thick, you never wiped it clean. Now it shines without a flaw, there's nothing you can't see. 无罪福，无损益，寂灭心中莫问你。彼来曾经未曾磨，今儿分明须剖析。Look at the last one. 信是根，法是尘，两种有入镜上恨，恨垢尽除光实现，心法双旺，性即真。Okay, this is beautiful as it translates. The power of this text is you have to get into the language to get it. The same way that hip hop, if people listen to hip hop, is direct from the streets, from people's experience of life as we live it. That's the power of hip hop. It's the words, right? It's being able to rhyme. Look at this. 心是根, mind is root. 法是尘, dharmas are dust. Okay, concrete language. Roots and dust. Mind and dharmas. 两种, both, mind and dharmas, 犹如, just like 镜山恨, a mirror that has scratches on it. What's a mirror with scratches? No reflection. Or an inaccurate reflection. You look in a mirror, you want to see your face, right? Got scratches on it, you're not going to see it. The mind and dharmas are both like a mirror that's got scratches on it. So, what are we trying to light up, right? Okay. 很够尽除, get rid of the scratches and any dust that covers the mirror. 光实现, only then does the light start to shine. 心法双忘, mind and dharmas both forgotten entirely. 性即真, only then is the nature true. So what is it? Subject and object. The mind is the thing that knows. The dharmas are the thing that it knows, are the objects of knowledge. Get rid of both the knower and the known. Only then do you see the nature. And you go, that's deep. That's really deep. Do you see that, Dharma Master? You know, how cool is that? Mind is the root. Dharmas are all dust. Mind and dharmas both are like a mirror stained and cracked. Polish out the stains and cracks. Mirror shines like new. Forget both mind and dharmas. The nature now is true. Turn over to page 100. Okay, let's look at Buddha nature. Moon on the rivers. Let's see here. 江月照风 let's see. 张月照松风吹永夜清宵何所谓佛性借诸心地印无路云霞体相依 Beautiful verse. Chinese. River moon shines, pine wind blows. Okay, you fill in the syntax, right? River moon shines, pine wind blows. Eternal night, pure stillness. What is there to do after all? Right? In the eternal, in the pure stillness of this eternal night, why bother? He says, Buddha nature, precept pearl, mind ground seal, imprint. So the Buddha nature's perfect pearl is the seal for the mind ground, which is Master Hua's Dharma, mind ground Dharma door. Clouds, mist, dew, fog, simply the clothes on the body. Right? Very poetic, very evocative, beautiful. And it's a song. It's to be sung. Right? The moon on the river shines, the night breeze stirs the pines. In this clear eternal stillness, let things take their time. Buddha nature's pearl, mind ground sets its seal. Mist and dew, clouds and fog hide and now reveal. How about up at the top of 101? Here we go. It says, 不可回，不可暂，体若虚空，无涯岸。不离当初，常沾染，你即知君，不可见。Chinese word for word. Listen to this incredible language. 不可毁, you can't slander it. 不可赞, you can't praise it either. 体若虚空，无涯岸. Its body is just like air, like space. There's no boundary anywhere. There's no limit to the body of the nature, right? What else? 不离当初常沾染. It never left this very place. It's always here. It's just the Buddha nature is never gone from this place right here. But ni ji zhizhun. But you go to try to find it, you're never going to find it. Like this boom, 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 boom. You know, he's playing with you, but he's telling the truth. How beautiful is this language? It's a koan. Talk about a koan. Every verse is designed to shake us out of our duality and our complacence in thinking that we know everything. The science is somehow going to discover truth using language and thought. You know, no way. Blame it, it's not less, and praise it, it's not more. Its body is like empty space, it has no fence, no shore. It's never left this very place, it's always holding still. No matter how you try to see it, friend, you never will. You can't get it, you can't let it go. Since there's nothing there to get, why do you chase it so? It's silent, it's still speaking when speaking, always still. Giving road is open and the Dharma's flowing now. Someone asked, hey mister, this teaching, what's it called? And I said, power to the Mahaprajna Paramita. Anyway, an ongoing project trying to capture the Song of Enlightenment in Western modes. Tonight on a 12-string guitar, some people prefer on a banjo. Banjo lends itself to the high and lonesome sound. The 12-string is kind of more friendly, but we have a third option, which is a Christian church hymn setting, which some people prefer. So, please turn to the back, Dedication of Merit. Last page of your songbook. Also on your Dharma request sheet, there's a copy of it. After we're done with the Dedication of Merit, I'm going to turn on the projector and we're going to look at 100 slides from Buddha Root Farm. Every year at Buddha Root Farm, recently, that is, Jerry has been our slideshow collator. He's been the one who collected all the images from our summer camp up in Oregon in the coastal mountains near Reedsport. This year, Jerry wasn't able to go, so I collected all the photos, but I didn't do the final selection. Well, he has done them now. So we got our best hits, our top 50, top 127 slides. We're going to go quick so you can see what the camp experience was like this year. And notice I said how clever I was in saying that you can't blame me if your favorite photo doesn't show up. It's his fault. He didn't pick it. So, now I see why you said it that way. So, no, we had something like 1,200 photographs submitted, right? So 1 out of 10 made the cut. And Jerry's eye has been reliable all these years. The photo slides, the slideshows get actually collated and then posted for next year. So people who are considering whether they want to go to Buddha Root Farm get to look and say, oh yes, I want to be there. Okay, page 108, last page on our songbook, Dedication of Merit. Make a wish, send out the goodness. We'll do May All Become Compassionate Wives 3 times at the end. Here we go. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, we hope it will be so. Okay, we're going to bring the screen down, turn the projector on, and turn the lights off. Okay. Jerry reminded me that there are photographs of miners in our slideshow. So, and this is public viewing on YouTube. So we'll just go quickly. I'll go quickly past those slides. If you see me skip a slide, it's because we don't want children's faces out there. Oh, thank you. Here's the group. Yay! Is that okay? File name. Okay. All right. Yep. Here we go. Berries. Work week. Okay. Yeah, you narrate as we need to. Scenes from work week. Bumblebees. These guys aren't miners. That's not Buddha Root Farm. That's a mountain. It's Mount Shasta. Okay. That's a young deer. Are we going to get sued for showing a fawn? I don't know. So, Milky Way. This is a wasp nest. We were dismayed to discover this huge wasp nest. So we just blocked it off because that's their house, and wasps are not happy when you walk by it. Although these are called paper wasps, and they're pretty easygoing still. Somebody gets stung because we were careless. That's not good. This is called the Chan Hall. This is how it looks without any bowing benches in it. That's where we do our ceremonies. Oh, this is not a minor. You don't care, do you? Nah. Yummy. Okay, everybody at work week, probably okay. These are marshmallows being roasted, toasted. Ooh. Waterfall. Kentucky Falls. There they are. Toasted marshmallows. Potato chip? On the bus. Okay. This is what it's like when you pitch your tent out in the woods. Soft bed of pine needles, incredible silence, and the sounds of dew dripping on your canvas tent top, and bird wings and bird songs. And critters. They live there year-round. We're there for 2 weeks. Okay, we're going past the kids. Burgers. Impossible Whoppers. Requesting Dharma. Drunken monks. No. The 8 brocades. Frisbee. What the modern monk needs. What's that? That's right, how we go on our extended pilgrimages these days. So Frisbee and Frisbee games figured in a lot of the fun this year. This is how not to offer to the Buddha, okay? That's a bad example. When you put this middle bowl for the Buddha, rice, please. We have to offer 7 grains of rice, and this makes the offerer have to dig the tomatoes out and dig the broccoli out and then find the rice down below. Not a good thing. So, the Buddha isn't like discriminating, you didn't give me the parsley. What's wrong with you? No, the Buddha wants, 7 grains of rice, or noodles, or a chunk of bread, potato. Story time. Our video crew. The video crew. Heng Sure introduced her translations and publications for kids. This is called the half can, because this is where we have our meals and where people sleep. These are mostly Heng Sure's, these portraits inside the half can. There you go, Paul. Blueberries. Isn't that clever? This is some of the crafts that were produced. This is now permanently in my guitar case, holding guitar strings. Oh. Oh. Drone. Tomas is singing, "Come back, come back." Interesting rock formations. We kind of like faces. We think it's natural. Nobody actually carved, you couldn't really climb down or up. It's too high for a ladder. So we had a tarp room set up outside. So, making beads, kids' faces. Breakout groups telling stories. Planning team. That's nice. That's the Smith River. Okay, there we go. All right. What? No applause for all the photographers? Yay! Okay. Announcements include that there we go. We have in particular two announcements. One is that tomorrow there's going to be an opportunity to cultivate together here to recite the Untitled Sutra and the Buddha's name. Both 明天还有地藏法会，还有念佛法会是吗？两个。Okay, 要念得慢哈。Okay, tomorrow is Untitled Bodhisattva Dharma Assembly, starting at 9 in the morning, 早上9点 to 4 p.m., reciting Untitled Bodhisattva Sutra slowly. So that you're welcome to join. That includes lunch. Please do stop in. Then the other information is interesting, which is we are co-sponsoring a blood drive with the local Jewish synagogue on University Avenue called Shalom Netivot. It's down on this side, on the eastern side of what was the former Berkeley Adult School. People know where that is? Not far from the Shell station. And it's co-sponsored by the Islamic community and who's the other one? Do we know who? It's the church next door. Church of the Way, yeah. So 4 religions coming together to sponsor blood donations. And the American Red Cross is currently short of particularly type O, which is mine. And I'm going to be donating blood again, second time in 2 years. And they really hope that we will encourage anybody who is willing to donate blood. Jin Wei Shi, would you say a little bit about, you have to register, how do we do it? Here's the microphone behind you there.
In the corridor you can find this flyer, and you have information how you can register. You can register, you can do online, or you can call to the Red Cross, or you can just show up in this day, and it will be 27th Tuesday, and it's 1316 University Avenue. So please come. They start at 12 p.m. until 6 p.m. and the whole process takes not more than 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes actually. But the donation itself is 10 minutes only, and it's kind of painless. So it's very well organized, and we're really happy to support this event. And just maybe a quick note that every 2 seconds someone's needed blood in the United States. So your donation can save 3 lives. So it's very important.
So the blood and cells and plasma that you donate can go to saving 3 lives, should they use it. So it's really, really worthwhile. If you come from Europe, they won't, if you've been in Europe recently, they won't accept you because the possibility of mad cow disease.
Actually, I must say, if you lived in Europe between 1980 and 1990.
If you lived in Europe for that decade, no
right,
go.
You cannot donate blood.
Because mad cow is passed on in the blood, and it's a disease they don't want to proliferate. There are other certain restrictions. If you have been in other certain countries, and they'll tell you what they are, you're not qualified to donate. But we not only need blood donors, we need volunteers. So in the past, last year, some of our Dharma friends here went to volunteer to help register people who are coming. And it's a wonderful way to get to know our local interfaith community as well. for the Buddhists to show up and donate blood is a wholesome act. Definitely something a bodhisattva would consider doing. So that's coming up on the 27th, a Tuesday from 12 to 5. 12 to
6.
12 to 6, so they get you on your way home from work. And it is painless and quick. Okay, that's our news. And next week, look forward to seeing you again to go deeper into the verses of the Bodhisattva's 9th stage. Okay. A story just reminded me. Jinwei Shi, who was the organizer of our participation in the blood drive, was walking in Beijing or Shanghai, Beijing, in the streets of Beijing, and ran into a Chinese Red Cross, whatever the equivalent, blood donation, and said, "Oh, I'd be happy to donate blood." And they said, "But you're not Chinese." He said, "Yeah, that's right. My blood is red, just like any Chinese blood." They said, "But you're willing to donate blood to people in China?" "Of course," he said. "That's so wonderful." And he totally melted their hearts, and they were delighted that a monk, 外国人，哎，老外，你的血液红了吧？谁知道啊？哇，想不到，一样红了。They said, your blood is just as red. So thank you. They said, "Gan-un." They really were very touched and moved that an American Polish Buddhist monk would be willing to donate blood. And that made a big impression. And talk about diplomacy. That's pretty real. Have some of my blood. It's okay. So that's how you make affinities, around the world, is by sharing your blood. They didn't ask him if he had mad cow disease. Yeah. Okay. Shall we transfer the merit and see you next week? We transfer the merit. Shall we bow to the Buddha? See you next week. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Namo Da Fa